Hey, everybody, it is Jay Bear, business growth and customer experience author, researcher, expert, here today with Dan, the chief operating officer from Deel. Dan, thanks for taking a little time. Talk a little bit about Deel, please.
Well, the fundamental purpose of Deel is to help companies hire, onboard, and manage a remote workforce. Companies that typically have people working for them in many different countries or regions around the world, they use Deel to enable that.
One of the things that I think is really interesting about the time to reply solution is it also sort of helps you prioritize emails in your own inbox, right? So typically you just answer, the oldest one first and you just go to work up or work down depending on your organization scheme. I think it's cool the way time to reply kind of says, hey, you might want to think about getting this one next, even though it may not be next chronologically. That to me seems like a really smart use of technology. How do your team members like using it?
We went a step further than most organizations might and set a part of performance compensation linked to time reply metrics. So
Wow.
for our team that are able to reply very quickly and keep on top of their mailboxes during business hours, they actually get paid more for it. So I think the rollout was very well received and the day-to-day works really, really well. We have seen some behaviors which some people might categorize as kind of perhaps gaming the system or optimizing the system, but in actual fact, we love it because what people are doing is when an email comes in, they're replying very quickly and saying, "Hey, got your email? I'm on it." Yes, they're not fulfilling the customer's request immediately, but they are over communicating and they are communicating very quickly. So we're completely fine to include that in performance compensation metrics, and that same kind of very quick first response also helps improve the NPS because the customer feels like, oh, Deel is amazing. It replies very quickly. It's people reply very quickly and they care about us. And that's really true. If you have emails coming in all day from your customers and you can get to them within 30 minutes or even shorter times in some cases, people love that.
You were singing my song. That is one of the 6 pieces of the speed framework that I just published in the book, with this idea of responding even if you don't have the answer, right? As soon as you say I got it, the psychological change on the customer side is huge, right? Because it kind of goes off of their to-do list, goes onto your to-do list. And it's not so much about time to satisfaction, but knowing that you're on it makes a tremendous difference. So it's really exciting to hear that you're approaching it that way. And the fact that you're actually tying it to compensation inside your organization is spectacular. I don't know of anybody who's doing it that way. So bravo. So I guess they better like the tool. They don't really.
Exactly.
There's not really a second choice, which I love that. So on the customer side, obviously you've seen an increase in Net Promoter Score, which is spectacular. I suspect there's some anecdotal evidence as well, people saying, I can't believe how fast you are, etc.
Totally. And we see that on our review sites. If you head to Trustpilot or G2, Capterra, we see clients write about how quick we are to get back to them. And that it's really cool to see that not only on the sales side, because you typically see fast reply times in go-to-market and sales teams, account executives, account managers, because they're incentivized to sell. You don't always see that in the customer support or post-sales success organizations, because sometimes sentiment can be negative. Sometimes customers can have an issue that they need fixing, and being able to be on top of that and over communicate and communicate quickly, that's what really keeps the NPS high.
Clearly, there's some fuzziness around correlation of NPS to revenue and profit. There's been lots of attempts to do that, and different organizations look at it different ways. So it seems to me, though, from an ROI perspective, given the fact that time to reply is, by all really practical measures, a relatively inexpensive software fee from a SaaS product standpoint, if you're seeing an actual NPS lift in the organization, I imagine you feel like the ROI is there.
Yeah, I think that NPS closely correlates with revenue retention. And if you have customers that score you very highly and tell their friends that Deel is great, they're likely to stay with Deel for a long period of time, and that revenue becomes retained. So the ROI on the time to reply solution, not only the cost that it costs us as a business, but also the implementation investment, the return on that has been huge.